Yeah. Judah Bing. Rolling with the punches. Time to tune in, go alert your cool friends. You can even let the tough guys and the goons in. They not the sinister six, but quite similar. After one set, son, I bet your ass remember them. Cats feminine, be gossiping and whispering. You can't resemble them. Competition, they diminish them. They got a starting five, Tommy playing point guard. BVO the center, D3 is the small forward. Sock the shooting guard, Marky Dan the PF. With D3 the sixth man, you sinking like quicksand. Too many channels making false and fake articles. We maintain remarkable and break them into particles. If you don't try to start with us, then we won't start with you. Cause it can finish quick, we ain't with the sissy shit. Plus we got Keith Cologne in El Fondo. I don't think you wanna fuck with Lo Mi Hair del Mundo. So just chill, ease back, and enjoy the vibe. Like the video, hit the bell and subscribe. Just chill, ease back, and enjoy the live. Hit the bell, like the video, you hear me, yo? Yeah, word 'em up. Judah Bing. Rolling with the punches. Yeah. You know the deal. Tommy from the Bronx. Rolling with the punches. Word 'em up. Okay. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah, buddy!
What's good? What's good? Hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday afternoon. We got another episode of Roll with the Punches podcast. You know, we got a special guest, and you know, we use the word special. We use the word special a lot. We use a special guest, special guy coming in, special woman coming in. You know, because I think everybody's special in their own way. So, you know, I think I got scolded by a couple people that does this on a regular professionally. Said, you know, not everybody's special. Like, stop staying special. But I truly think this guy's special. I mean, and we're going to celebrate him today. It's my guy, Keith Cologne. Keith Cologne, Tsunami Cologne. He's been with us numerous times. I've been at numerous fights. You know, I'm a fan of his. You know, I'm a fan of him as a man and as a fighter. You know, and he just accomplished something that most fighters don't do. And he just, you know, graduated from the University of Rutgers last Thursday. So we're going to have him on shortly. First things first, let me shout out, you know, Sports Talk Network, STN. Shout out to my man D Free. I'm going to bring him. I'm going to introduce him real quick. D Free's in the building. You know, he's always a regular co-host here. Shout out to the usual suspects. You know, Tales from the B-side. We got an episode coming up this Sunday as well. Hopefully, don't want to jinx it. Working on that. But Tales to the B-side, it's usual suspects. Also, you know, they help with the content as well. You know, shout out to my man BVO, B3, Just Ask Juan. You know, forgive me if I forget you. I'm very bad when it comes to doing the shout outs, right? So I told myself I'm going to do it more often. Shout out STN, shout out usual suspects, shout out to my man D Free. What's good with you, D Free? How's everything?
Man, everything good. What's going on with you?
Chilling, man. Trying to get these shout outs going, man. I'm terrible at this. I just want to get to it and just talk, man. I got to get used to it. It's something I got to get used to. I'll get it eventually. It'll get done correctly. But shout out to Roll with the Punches, right? The podcast, right? That's what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? So, and of course, shout out to the mighty audience that's in the building. I appreciate everybody coming through. Forgive me as I don't have my glasses on and I'm struggling. I can't see up close. I can see very far away beautifully, right? So the farther I go back, the more I can see it. But yeah, that's what happens when you're old, right? I'm almost hitting 50. You know what I'm saying? Man, D Free. You know, he looks like he's like 28, 29, and he's like 58. So, you know, you know what I mean? So, shout out to my man, Barky Dan, also part of the STN, man. Forgive me if I forget you. I apologize. I told you I'm working on it. I'm going to work on a script that I could do this on the norm. But Marky Dan is in the building. Salute to you. Tay in the building. Salute to her. Salute to you, Tay. Hope everything is well. My man, Frontline in the building. Que lo que. He's always clowning me, saying I'm Dominican, not Puerto Rican. My man, Judah Ben is in the building. Salute to you. He's the one that does the intros for us. You know, shout out to my man, Judah Ben in the building. Who else is in here real quick? I can't see. I'm sorry. My man Oddfellas in the building as well. My man Thomas Hill in the building. My man Oddfella putting up the dope articles. Go shop usualsuspects.com. I just ordered some shirts. It's coming over soon. I'm gonna be rocking them on the streams as well. You know what I'm saying? Go subscribe to my man Oddfella and the usual suspects. You know what I mean? And I can't see who is this.
That's Blue Hustle.
Blue Hustle, man. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. I really can't see, man. You see me struggling. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving around. So real quick, our guest will be here shortly. He should be here soon. I told him to come in a little bit after 4, started early so we could do the intros, which I totally bombed at. But Keith Cologne, man, out of Newark, New Jersey, featherweight, kind of still in the prospect stage, looking to get in the rankings to be to get to that challenger title contender eventually. He's got a decorated amateur career as well. We had him on before he even turned pro. We had him on a couple years ago, and he was telling us when he was going to turn pro, and already 10 fights in, within a little bit less than 2 years, 10 fights in, all 10 wins by way of knockout. And listen, full-time student as well, and he just finished that and accomplished that, and we're gonna talk about it. D Free, what do you want to discuss with Keith? What are you looking forward to talking to Keith?
I mean, we got to discuss with Keith Cologne because I see him about to come in the building. He's a very modest individual, and if you talk to him, he would tell you he's a boxer. But this man got 10 wins, 10 knockouts. We gotta have to start calling him a knockout artist. This man, he's stopping everybody.
Yeah. But without further ado, the guest is here. The special guest. I said special. Yes, special. My man out of Newark, New Jersey. 10-0, 10 knockouts. Featherweight. My man Keith Cologne in the building. What's good, Keith?
What's going on?
Chilling. The Tsunami is in here, man. How's everything with you, man? I know you've been working hard lately, working for for your next fight.
Yeah, everything is good. Just sticking to the script, doing what I do, nothing changing. Just keep doing what I'm doing, staying focused. Just making sure that my head on straight and constantly working hard.
Yes, indeed. And speaking about working hard and keeping your head on straight, you just accomplished something that a lot of people don't accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And you did that as a full-time fighter. So right. I just want to firstly, I already did it live. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do it here in the show. I want to congratulate you on graduating with your bachelor's degree from Rutgers University. First off,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, and let's start there. Let's start with that because, like I said, not many people do this, man. I go back to Juan Diaz is the guy I remember doing it. When he was fighting, and Juan Diaz he had a good career as a fighter. I believe he became world champion as well. But like I said, going through school, how was it for you personally? What does it mean to you? Being a college graduate.
Truthfully, like how you say, it's big, but humbly speaking, being honest, this is something that I said I was going to do since a kid. Thank God I was blessed enough and fortunate enough to go to a great middle school where they instilled it in me early. They had us going on college visits, 5th, 6th grade. So I always told my mom that, I'm gonna go to college, and it was always that was always the vision for me. So it wasn't far fetched, So I feel like because I had my eyes set out on it at a young age, growing up, I lived in it. I lived through it and I sought it out.
Okay, that's what's up, man. D Free, feel free to pop in and talk as you may.
Yeah, I mean, we know you're a full-time boxer, and you just graduated with a bachelor's degree. Are you planning on using your bachelor's degree in your life, even though you're still a full-time boxer?
To an extent, I'm not, really looking or right now I'm not looking to be like a psychologist, so to say. However, I'm willing to use it to an extent, because at the end of the day, that is great credibility, just in everyday life, so it could transfer over to sports psychology, just mental psychology, everyday living. Psychology is just one of those things where it's not just about how you think, but it's also about how you act. It's a subconscious part of your brain that when you do things like, why did I just do that? Why did I just do that? You know, why did I make that right turn? Or why did I allow that to get me mad? So psychology is just deeper than just, how people think. It's really about their actions, their learning behaviors. It could get deep.
Mm. So, so speaking of school and boxing, like in boxing, I think we spoke about this when you first came on, like one of your first interviews we did with you. You talked about distance, you talk about rhythm, right? And I think you talk a little bit about balance. But how was it balancing, you know, having being a full time fighter, and also you was going to school as being an amateur as well. So balancing that and balancing your schoolwork, how difficult or easy was it for you?
Um, Truthfully, it wasn't like too crazy, because if it was too crazy, then it wouldn't have been for me. You get what I'm saying? So I felt like it was doable, or I always feel like it was always doable. I'm always a person that I'm not going to stress, or I'm not going to put a pressure on, or like I'm not going to put any extra pressure on myself. I could have finished college earlier. It could have took me longer. However, like with me, I'm just the type of person that I just go with the flow. All right, I know what I need to do right now. This is what I gotta do. These classes, boo boo bang. I'm not going to stress it. As long as my parents ain't gotta pay for my school, I ain't gotta pay for my school. I'm going to school for free. I don't care how long it's gonna take me. I'm gonna get it done. So that was always how I thought about it. That was my thought process. And I never had pressure on me. So for me, it really wasn't super difficult because like how you said, like I also was doing this in high school. I went to a competitive high school, went to a Catholic high school, and I had to balance going on tournaments for a whole week, and also maintaining my grades, maintaining a high GPA, and all these other things.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you. We know that, like I said, you're a full time boxer and you went to college. And most people would say, okay, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna finish college. But you finished with a high GPA. Let the people know what your GPA was. That was a huge achievement.
Yeah, I think my GPA was like a 3.0. It's not crazy high, but 3.0. Um, yeah, we got it done.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, at the end of the day, you got it done. And so did you go in on scholarship, full scholarship, or?
Yeah. It's when you applying to college, you got grants, scholarships. Um, yeah, it was many different revenues that had helped me out that allowed me not to pay. So like grants
Mhm.
and scholarships.
Okay, that's awesome, man. So you know, I know we spoke about it. The questions may sound a little bit repetitive, but you know, as a man, Puerto Rican descent, out of Newark, New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, it's kind of like the Bronx, it's not easy, man. So I mean,
Yeah.
how special is that to you? Like, isn't that? Do you feel like special, like to accomplish something coming from where you come from?
Yeah, I do feel accomplished. I do feel accomplished. I'm grateful, but at the same time it don't hit me until until the flowers is being presented, so to say. Like
Mhm.
I go to the gym, I go to school. I've been doing this for 23 years straight, nonstop. So like for me, it's more so regular. However, like when I sit back and I see everybody like, whoa, like that's something big, or keep doing what you're doing, you're an inspiration. Then I see kids coming up to me, and like it's just like those little things. It's like, oh, all right, cool. Like I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It made me feel good, and it just keep motivating me to inspire you know, the youth, the elder, whoever.
Mm.
Now that you graduated college and that portion is over for at least for now. What you gonna do with that spare time? Because that was a big part of your time while you was going to school and boxing as well. So now that that portion is freed up, what you gonna be doing with the spare time that you have?
Well, he might have got a phone call.
Yeah, he look like he got a phone call.
Yeah. Salute to everybody in the building, man. I'm gonna try to shout you guys out as we go along. If you got questions, put them there. I'll try to get it towards the end of the interview. We don't have many questions. I don't like keeping people on too long. You know what I'm saying? He's busy. He's training. He's got an upcoming fight. So, but leave them, and I'll definitely try to get them in. For Keith. So, but yeah, he'll probably come back in a minute. But I really appreciate it. I see Vacay Bay in the building. Like I said, I'm struggling reading because I don't got my glasses. My man Crush is in the building as well. Y'all gonna make me put the glasses on so I can read these comments, man. I gotta do this, man. Salute to everybody in the building. My man Frontline's in here as well. I think I shouted him out, but so just bear with me.
Y'all see Thomas ain't trying to look his age. He's trying to keep the glasses on.
Yeah, and put the hat to the side a little bit. Try to help me look a little, help out a little something. You know what I mean? So
Thomas still think it's the early 90s. You gotta realize we're in 2026 now.
I got what I'm gonna do? What do you want me to get a cane and shit and start limping or something? Like, what do you want me to do?
What's going on, Juan? Nah, hey, you gotta get some personality glasses that got some prescription in it. You ain't gotta wear the old man glasses.
No, those are reading glasses. So I got my contacts in to see, because if not, I have good glasses, to wear, but I don't like wearing them.
He got contacts to see and he can't see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Juan? There you go.
There he goes. There he goes.
I don't know what happened right there. They just kicked me out.
What I was asking was, before you got cut off, now that you got that time that's freed up and you're not going to school anymore, what you gonna be doing with the spare time?
It's a lot that I'm already doing. It was a lot that I was planning on, just like how you said, freeing up that spare time. But like, to kind of give you a glimpse is really just doing like my main objective is to always continue to box. However, I don't want to venture off into other things that's going to pull me away from boxing. So it kind of got to be in that same realm, whether that's like, it could be many other things, like just start maybe even opening up like a fitness gym, like investing into those kind of things. Talks about just different types of investments, the opportunities that arise. I even got somebody that he gonna start connecting me with, like more of the younger generation, like coming into high school, to really just talk to them and be like that big brother, so to say, So it's a lot of things that we looking forward to doing. However, it gotta make sense, and it can't like pull me away from what I'm already doing, if that makes sense.
Okay. That's a good answer, because that leads me to my other question. I mean, you kind of sort of answered it, but like, what message you want to give the young kids, who think, who look at your journey, right? And want, look to see, how they can balance, taking up a sport and, going to school at the same time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, like that ain't I don't even push that on the youth. I don't even push, oh, you gotta be a student athlete, or how important it is to also go to school and, chase your dreams. I'm gonna be honest, I don't push that. I'm a real firm believer in, like, just go get it. Like, it's a million ways to make it out here. The way you think is going, like, it's old. You feel me? You gotta adjust. You gotta make a real way now, like that what you think is gonna happen, a million people trying it, that ain't gonna happen. You feel me? So it's 100 different ways to make it now, and that's really what I'm trying to show, like with my testimony, with how I came up and the system that I came up through. Is like, it's 100 million ways to make it out here.
Okay, I got a question from the chat. Oh, he got keyed up again. I don't know if that's me or you. Hold on. D-Free, you there? Yeah, I don't know if I broke up or if it's
I can hear you.
Okay, I think it's my internet. But I got a question from the chat. I'm gonna read it real quick from Marky Dan. He wants me to ask you if you have the same patience about your college education that you do about your boxing career, or do you feel any pressure or desire to start facing contenders soon?
With my boxing career, I feel as though that's a whole different that's a whole different aspect. It's like in boxing you got a small window. Education, your window, it's like your time is your time. You get it when you get it. But in boxing, it's like you got a small window. You got to execute. That's how I look at it. So with boxing, of course, I'm gonna have more of a pursuit to like go and get it. But also like at the same time, like, man, people don't understand how like boxing isn't hard, so to say, but to constantly go back training camp after training camp, like people don't even realize, like, all right, yeah, cool, I'm 10-0, but these is 10 training camps back to back to back to back to back. How grueling it could be on the body. Even the boxing promoters don't even understand this.
Hmm.
Sometimes boxing coaches don't understand this. But it's for the fighters to speak up and let it be known, because we the ones that's constantly going back out there risking our lives. Even though I got 10 knockouts, like, it still play a toll, because for me, each fight I'm training as if it's already a world title fight. I'm training as if 100 odds is on me right now at the moment. So I'm not gonna let up. So my patience for boxing, in a sense, I do have it, like in a ring. But if you talking more so like the boxing, scene, the boxing, like the boxing logistics, my vision is, you got a small window, you gotta execute it. And once your time is up, it's the next man's turn.
Okay. Good. Good.
Hey,
Um. Good.
so now that you're 10-0, 10 knockouts, are you looking to get tougher individuals? Because some people will say, okay, he had an easy roll. He got 10 knockouts. He having an easy roll. I don't see it that way. I see that you're still learning, but are you looking for yourself to get tougher opponents?
If I'm being honest, yes, I am. I've advocated that, like like how I just told Thomas, is like, these is 10 training camps. Like, I'm not trying to sacrifice and put all this hard work, just for a 2-minute fight. It may sound like other people may want that, but I don't want that. Like, I work hard, I make real deal sacrifices as if I'm fighting somebody that's just as good as me. And so with that, I want to test. I want competitive fights. I want the hard opponents. I want somebody that's gonna push me, because that's what makes it worth it. That's all right. Cool. Yeah, I just had to dig down, dig deep, but I got it. Now I can rest. However, when it's like constant back to back to back yummies that I'm fighting, it could get frustrating. You feel me? It could even get discouraging. Like, man, I don't even want to do this no more. Because like I said, we really putting our bodies through a lot. But of course, I want better competition. I want bigger fights on the biggest stage. Um, like I train hard, get hard sparring, make all the hard sacrifices. For that.
Yeah. And then we didn't even talk about weight. You got to be on weight too. Like that's not, it's 10,
Yeah,
10, 10 training camps and stay on weight. You got to live a boxer's lifestyle. You know,
for
it's a lot
sure.
of work.
For sure, for sure. And
Yeah.
people may think like, oh, it's like, a lot of people may think and say like, oh, you picking this types of fighters, or you picking this kinds of fighters, but they don't even understand that, like, in this boxing game, it's like y'all want me to face a certain caliber of fighters, but then when it's time for that to happen, you know, they'll come to me and they be like, all right, cool. Like, one person said that he wanted to, like, my coach, he went sparring like a couple weeks ago, and he was like, oh, like, they got some sparring for you. And my dad was like, we trying to get that fight. We don't want the spar, we want that fight. And he basically told my coach, he's like, yo, the only way I'm fighting him is if I get 100K. I'm like,
Mm,
what?
wow.
It's just like, but that's I don't know whether he was just talking or what, but it's like, the higher the competition, the more money they gonna want.
Yeah.
So it's like, but he literally said that to my coach, and I'm but it's just like, come on, bro, like, be for real.
Mm,
So So people always probably think like, it's the fighter that's winning the fights that's picking these. Like, nah, it's not even the case. Sometimes it's the other way around. Like other guys is just they just saying whatever in these
Mm,
negotiations that's unrealistic.
I see. Okay. We got some questions in the chat as well. D Free, you got frontline. Read front lines, and then we'll go to Thomas Hill's question. You're on mute, I think. Yeah, you're on mute, D Free.
My bad. Frontline wanted to ask you how much of a relief is it now to focus more on boxing until you decide if and when you're going back to school?
Uh, it's a relief because like it's a relief for sure. It's a relief for sure. But I'm one of those like high achieving individuals where like I want the best lifestyle for myself. Even though I'm 23 years old, like I'm reaching out to my wealthy friends, and I'm asking them like, yo, like I need you, like if you my age right now, and this and this and this, like how you gonna navigate? How you going this and that. Like I'm one of those types of individuals where I'm not afraid to ask for questions. I'm one of the individuals that I want to be in a room where everybody around me know more than me, so I could learn, I could pick up because I'm just that, like that's how great of a individual I want to be. It's not even about boxing. It's just more so like, all right, cool, school is done. Now I get to focus on other aspects to elevate my life to where I could help my boxing career and I could be the best version of myself. So for
Hmm.
me, it's deeper than just all right, school done. I could just focus on boxing. That's just like a real narrow mindset that a lot of individuals would have. But in this world, in this economy, like boxing, just boxing alone not gonna save you. Like you gonna be boxing just to like and struggling. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's the aspect where I'm coming in. Is like, all right, I'm reaching out. I'm trying to tap into like other avenues to help my boxing career in the long run.
Hmm. Okay. And D Free, you might have to help me with this one. I can't see. Thomas Hill had a question. I don't know. Is this it? Let me see what it is.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
now when he said investment with a gym, was that fitness aspect of a gym or maybe opening a gym for the the sport of boxing?
Nah, it was more like I feel as though boxing boxing would help. Boxing would be a part of the fitness. However, it's not gonna be a specifically boxing gym. That's like real narrow. That's real specific. I would want a fitness gym. Whether just anybody, any age, whether you want to fight or not, you could come in and get a workout and be fit. It's just understanding understanding my community, understanding the reach. And I'm a boxer, but I'm gonna be honest, it's like the only people that's gonna walk into a boxing gym is people that's interested in boxing. You know, however, that may be a small pool of people where I'm from.
Mm,
So however, a larger, mostly everybody want to look good, feel good, and yeah, and perform at a high level. So a fitness gym would be probably a better option for me. So that's like an avenue where I could definitely invest in and make it happen.
mm. Okay. I got one more school question. This is just a little scenario. So for
Uh
you,
huh.
what was tougher? What was harder for you? A week of sparring, or a week of preparing for finals?
I never stressed about finals, man. Like, I never. School was the last thing I was stressing about. Trust me, man.
Mm,
Like, school was the last thing I was worried about. School was the last stressor on my life. So I definitely say like fight week would probably be way more draining than finals week. Like I always told myself that like I'm never that. School is the last thing I'm stressing about.
mm. Okay, that's what's up. All right, D Free, got anything real quick?
Nah. Actually, um, we know you just had a fight not too long ago. Um, we know you stay busy. You like staying busy. How soon is it before we see you in the ring again?
Uh, like I said, being busy right now is not like a goal of mine. Like that was a goal when I first got on the scene. I want to be busy so I could get comfortable. So when it's time for these big fights, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Now I'm overly comfortable in the ring. You feel me? Like I don't need to be fighting every 2 months and I'm fighting 8 rounders. Like I said, these training camps is grueling. Like is these training camps is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's taxing on the body for sure. So I'm not like overly interested in fighting 10 times in a year. However, I will be back in the ring in August. Hopefully, it will be for like a competitive fight, so where it makes sense. It's like I don't want to just keep fighting every 2 months, and these fights is not competitive.
Yeah.
So it's like hopefully, all right, cool. We get a nice fight in August. I get to rest a little bit. Probably do one more fight at the end of the year or around November, and just see how it go.
Okay. There's one more question. He says a school question. This is my man Marky Dan. He a little slow himself, so you might have to educate him a little bit. But that he's still my guy. But he says one more school question. Ask him if he believes there should be college boxing like you have college wrestling, and if he ever thought about why every other sport has a college club.
I say it makes sense if you see like if the collegiate if boxing was supported on a collegiate level, it will make the professional level much more greater. So if in order to box at the professional level, you would have to at least have 1 year of college experience, like how it is in every other sport. It'll make like anybody just want to be able to fight. You get what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
it'll make the sport much more prominent. It'll be more like more credibility behind it. So I do think that you know it will make it more credible and more prominent. However, you got a lot of great talent that never make it. Like how they say in basketball and football. There's a lot of people that went to the league that was better than LeBron or better than this person. Better, just imagine how many other like people you would not have seen. You probably would have never met a Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would have never known who Muhammad Ali was because of the restrictions there was back then. It's just so like the sport would have looked completely different. So that's a great point. But do I think that boxing should be supported on a collegiate level? Nah, it's already it is what it is. I don't like the change up too much. Like you want to keep the history behind it, and you know like that's what I appreciate about the sport of boxing. It's just the history and the legacy behind it.
Mm. That was a very good question, Marky Dan. I'm very impressed, and it was a very good answer by you, Keith. I like messing with Marky. You know what I'm saying? But nice. So basically, school is over. We're done with now. You're still learning to be an adult. Let's put it that way. But you've done an excellent job. So are we? Now your boxing career continues. Are we going to see a different version of Keith now in your boxing career?
No, I don't feel like that's necessary. I feel as though at this point in time in my professional boxing career, the boxing world still hasn't seen my full potential. So for me to switch things up right now, it wouldn't make sense because you know I still got a whole lot to show for. Still got a whole lot in my arsenal. It's a whole lot. So if it ain't broke, I'm not going to change it. Stick to the script. Be the same me. Be the same person. I'm not going to be, you know, like you ain't going to see a different me. I'm gonna be the same me. How I've been coming, and it's just a finished school graduate. That's it. That's all it is. Nothing different.
Okay. That's what's up, man. I wanted to focus on this interview a little bit about your school and give you your flowers. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you
Because it's a great accomplishment.
for
Um,
sure.
for me, I have two kids and they doing a great job. I got a daughter in school now, so we're extremely proud. So that brings me to my next question. So like, how special it is to have the team and the support system that you have, because I know that you have a great support system, but maybe the people out there that are watching don't know how great of a support system you have. How important is that?
It's real important to have supportive people around you, and for them to genuinely want what's in your best interest. Everybody, it's one thing to have a great support system, but it's another thing to have a great support system behind your own beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like, people could be supportive of you, however, they would want you to do this in order for them to be supportive. Like, like for example, my parents could have been supportive, but because I wanted to box, they were like, "Oh no, we don't want you to box." However, they were supportive of my own decisions. Like, look, it's his life. We just gonna be there and support him, and just try to help him as best as we can. And so for that, I greatly appreciate it. And it don't just stop there. When you're a great person, you're gonna have much love and success is gonna follow. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that support me constantly, day in, day out, and that just genuinely want me to strive.
That's what's up, man. We're gonna have a little bit of fun now, real quick. I don't know how much time you have, but I don't like to keep you too long. We try to. I think I have you shorter than anybody else when you do interviews, and I do that because your time is special. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
So, but I'm gonna have a little bit of fun because speaking of that, your father is done a great job with you, and I speak to your father regularly, at least a couple times a week. We speak about boxing, we speak about you and other fighters that he manages and works with. So this in 6 months, in a few weeks, we got a big fight. Xander Zayas taking on Boots Ennis. Your father already told me that he's rooting for Xander, but he says that Xander really don't got a shot. He's like Boots is gonna beat him. He don't know if he could last past 6. What's your feeling about the fight?
I feel like it's gonna be a great fight. I feel like both of these fighters are in a great position right now. Boots, he's in a position where once he had his unification bout with Xander, he could make whatever fight he want. And Xander, he's in a situation where it's the same thing for him, but not only that, but he's young. He's a young lion in the sport, and he could have a world in his hands at 22 years old, 23 years old. So that's what he wants. However, I'm not want to write Xander off. I feel like he got great size, great length, and you know it's likely for Boost to have trouble now. How it may look, we don't know. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, I'm not gonna be the one to write him off, because I understand. Like, I know I get in the ring each and every day. Like, I don't care. You could be good every fight, but that day you got to be perfect. That day you got to be on your A game. It don't matter what you done before. It don't matter what you do in the gym. That day you got to be perfect. So people putting a lot of pressure. Well, not even pressure, but people saying that uh, Boots is going, watch Xander. However, we got to see you. Like, we don't know the circumstances, and because I'm thinking about it. If it was me in that situation, like, I already know that when I get up there and I get under them lights, like, that right there is just extra motivation. I got my family there. I got everybody. That's extra motivation. And I'm going to do my thing no matter what. So I really feel like it's going to be a great competitive fight, especially the first 6 rounds. And after the first 6, that's when either Xander or Boots going to pull away and just take off from there. But, I'm not picking no winners. I ain't picking no losers. I got love for both fighters, and may the best man win.
Okay. D, for you got anything? Because I got another one. But
Yeah, I mean, I know he got love for a lot of the fighters that fight in the sport of boxing, especially coming out of New Jersey. We got this big one coming up this weekend. Oshaki Foster and Raymond Ford. I know you don't wanna pick who's gonna win because you got a relationship with Raymond Ford, and I know you know about Oshaki. But how you see that fight going?
Um, I see Raymond Ford winning, but
Hmm.
I also, I I'm not too sure. Do a lot of people got Osaki winning? Or do a lot of people got Ford winning? I'm not too sure. Or is it like 50-50?
You know, I think a lot of people have Oshaki winning this fight. From who I've spoken to and who I've dealt with in different channels, for the majority, I've seen more Oshaki. They're not writing Ford off, but I think for the
Okay.
most part, they think Oshaki's going to outbox him.
All right. Well, my prediction would be I feel like that's gonna be a great fight. Um, I feel like this fight right here, this would be one of those fights where it could like shockingly be like one of the fights of the year. Because yeah, Osaki could box, yeah, Raymond Ford could box. However, I see it kind of playing a little differently. It's like I feel like it's gonna get like real competitive, and they're not gonna be caring too much about who getting hit, but they want to put their foot on each other's neck. So I feel like it's gonna be a great fight, and a lot of emotions going to arise. You got Osaki from Houston, so I already know he's not going to just want like an easy victory. He gonna want to put a stamp on it. But you also got Raymond Ford, and he's now residing in Houston, and he gonna want to stand on business no matter what. So I feel like that's what's gonna make for a great fight. However, I got Ford winning. I feel like it's gonna be via decision, but I think that's gonna be a great fight. Like I said, I believe it'll probably be like fight of the year, where both guys gonna end up just being in the middle of the ring and just trying to put their foot on each other's necks.
Yeah, I feel you. I think here's my take on it is I think it's going to be a great fight. I got Oshaki winning. The thing with me with Raymond Ford, I have a little thing with Raymond Ford just from things I've heard of him in the gym, but about him in the ring and his preparation, I feel like he hasn't really taken it as serious as he should. His last fight, he came in a little bit overweight. He looked a little sluggish against Nova, a guy that I thought he should have handled a little better than what he did. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, sometimes the opponent you rise up more for the opponent. So maybe
True,
maybe we
true.
see a more focused Raymond Ford, and I can see
Yeah,
Raymond Ford winning realistically. We can see the best Raymond
yeah.
Ford beating Oshaki. So, but that's my take on it. I have Oshaki winning, but if Raymond Ford rises up to the occasion, like I think he's capable of doing it, yeah, I think he can pull it off.
Yeah, I think I got Oshaki winning, and it's more so because I want to see what happens after the fight. Because that Shakur versus Oshaki, I've been wanting to see that
Oh,
for a
okay, okay,
while.
okay,
I've
okay.
been wanting to see that fight for a while. And Shakur said if Oshaki beats Raymond Ford, he'll fight him. And I think that's the main reason why I'm pulling for Oshaki, because I like both of these guys equally. I don't have any favorites in this fight, but I'm pulling for Oshaki because of what can happen after that fight.
And I'm gonna tell you I never thought about that, but that's a real dangerous thing for because like in the boxing world sometimes that's exactly how a lot of other people think, and they would want to see, all right, we know that the bigger fight after this would be Osaki versus Shakur if he beat him. And so sometimes with these close fights they just write a loot off just for the bigger fight to come later down the line. I never thought about that. That also happened. I feel like that happened to Raymond Ford another time though um when he fought Nick Bard. Not saying that he won a loss, that he won the fight or lost against Nick Bard, but it's a saying in boxing, if you're a fighter, it's like, don't say you're gonna move up before your fight.
Yeah,
Because it's like, all right, you're gonna move up and the title's gonna vacate now, the belts is going go to the next like the promoters don't want to keep the belt in house, so you gotta be smart about that. Don't say you're gonna move up before the fight, and be careful about the bigger fights that may happen after you. So I never thought about that.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. All right, I got a couple more things. You're in the featherweight division. So those that don't know, fights at 126. I'm going to name some featherweight fighters. Maybe some that you already been in the ring with sparring, some that you haven't, maybe know of. Tell me what comes to your mind when I mention these names. I'm just going to mention two guys off the back that I know and that I rock with. So Shushu Carrington.
And I say one word to describe him.
You can say a sentence or whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you like.
Uh, I want to say Shushu, New York. Like I feel like I feel like that's like the best like word or phrase to describe Shushu. Like New York, uh, Brownsville. You know, like like if you know, you know. Like Mike Tyson. You know, even I got Shushu on Instagram. You know, he be going hard for the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan too, so I be going hard for them. But he be going crazy. So I say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I was gonna bring that up too about the Knicks. I don't watch basketball like I used to, but I was gonna ask you about the Knicks. So you're pretty amped up for the Knicks, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got a few other names. Jan Santana.
Uh,
Oh, you don't know who he is?
nah, I know who he is. I'm just
Okay.
like the first word that came to my head when you said that was like Dominican.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah, like,
All right,
that's
we'll
the
go.
best.
We'll go to another one. Rafael Espinoza.
Uh, tall, long, lanky. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best word or phrase to describe him. Be like lanky.
Okay. Angelo Leo.
Um, you know, I don't know too much about Angelo Leo, but I saw a video. He had like blonde hair. It just reminded me of like a Bruce Lee type of character, you know. So I say that like Bruce Lee. Um,
All right. Okay. Okay. Out of the current world champions at featherweight, do you see yourself, maybe getting in the ring with them anytime soon? Not soon, but in the future.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I really feel like my talent is right there. You know, like I
Hmm.
have world championship class talent, world championship class ability. And I'm not just saying this. I especially feel this right now because I really been peaking. You know, like in my sparring, training, like it's really been like just a clear lopsided difference. And it's not like I just spar bums, you know. So I say that
Right.
with confidence. I say that with, like humbly speaking. So I really do feel like it's like my talent is there, and I can't wait to show the world. I can't wait to just be on that stage, man. I really
Hmm.
can't.
Well, you shared the ring with one of those guys. You've been in the ring with Shushu, right?
Yeah, yeah, I spar shushu, yeah.
How was that experience? How was he, in the gym?
Yeah, no, that was a great experience. You can hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not smart. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Sparring Sushi was a great experience. I feel like at that time I was getting ready for like my international tournaments when I was still in the amateurs. So like that right there, like after sparring him, like that right there kind of like solidified it for me. It's like, oh, all right, yeah, like I know I'm right where I need to be. You know, I'm right on track. You know, I just gotta, just, like do a little things for the amateur system. Not even necessarily boxing. It's like because in sparring, you don't have judges where you gotta fight a certain type of way. It's like all right, you could just fight freely, So like, but in the amateurs, it's like you gotta fight a certain type of way to win at that highest level. So I'm like, oh, all right, like skillfully wise, like I know I'm there, I know I'm good. I just gotta adjust to the amateur style, just to keep winning at that high level. But like I said before, it was a great experience. Yeah.
Okay. And my last thing, and then D Free, you could close us out if you got any other questions. But talk to us about your team, like not your team, the supporting team, but like other fighters that you work with that in New Jersey that work in your gym. Tell us about the gym a little bit if you can, and just give a shout out to those guys because I think a couple of them are fighting soon, and I think they're fighting in a couple weeks in Atlantic City, if I'm not mistaken. You can shout them out, and then we're probably going to have them on the show too. So, well, yeah, go ahead and tell us like about your stable.
Yeah, I may miss some people because it's a lot, man. It's a lot. But at my stable we got Josiah Kirkpatrick, we got Zaire Salam, we got Nim Salam, we got KP, we got Slick and Michael Slick Anderson, we got uh we got a whole lot of guys, but all of these guys like they in camp right now, so I've been in camp, and this goes back to what I said about like these training camps is hard because like one of the guys that's in my stable, he gonna fight Anthony Joshua, so you already know like everything full throttle for him. If
Yeah,
it's full throttle for him,
Christian Prenga. That's
yeah,
his name.
KP. Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's full
KP.
throttle for him, it's full throttle for us. So it's like, you know, technically I'm in the training camp like if I'm getting ready for a world titles, so
Yeah,
that's you feel me? So yeah, nah, shout out those guys. They gonna do their thing. They gonna do their thing.
that's a major opportunity, and to represent your stable too. Christian Prenga, he's going to fight Anthony Joshua. That's a huge
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fight for him.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't wait. I feel like that's gonna be a great fight, man. A lot of people don't know him, but after this fight, God willing, I hope, more opportunities come from it. And if you ask me, I really think, I really like, don't think I'm crazy, but I really think he's gonna beat him. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I know I see, he has what it takes to beat him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I see a little bit of that too from the research because we were supposed to interview him a couple weeks ago, so I was doing some research on him a little bit. He's got 20 wins, 1 loss, but all his wins are by knockouts too. So I did take a look at him. So hopefully now that I know to go to the right people, now we're gonna probably get him on. But yeah, I think he's got a great opportunity, a great shot to beat Anthony Joshua. And that's gonna help put your gym on the map a little bit more too. So that's great.
That's gonna put him on the map.
Yeah, obviously him for sure.
Like,
But
that's the opportunity that he been trying to get. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy for him. His hard work paying off, and he there. That's motivation for us, because that's where we trying to be. That's the stage that we try and get to, that we working hard to get to. So for sure.
Yes, indeed. D Free.
The only question I have for you, because we had you up here for a while. Are you still celebrating the graduation, or the celebration is over?
No, celebration over. Celebration over. One of my mentors texted me today. He was like, "Don't get caught in the trophy room too much." I'm like you know me, like I ain't. I'm already on to the next. You feel me?
Yeah.
So yeah, celebration been over. But that was just for that day. We on to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. My man Clarence was there too. Shout out to Clarence in the building. He was at the graduation.
Shout out to Clarence.
Yeah, but Keith, man, this has been great, man. I always appreciate you coming on, giving us a little bit of your time. I feel like I'm part of the team as well. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I've been to like 5 or 6 fights. I'm at a graduation. Yeah. When you eventually get married, I'll be there too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But definitely appreciate you, man. This was great.
Thank you.
And obviously I wish you all the best, and we look forward to seeing you soon in your next fight.
Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate y'all for having me as well.
Absolutely, man.
Not a problem.
Take care, Keith.
Yeah, take care.
That was Keith Cologne, featherweight, out of Newark, New Jersey. 10-0, 10 knockouts, man. I think he's a special kid. Here we go with the word special again, but I'm Team Cologne, right? I'm Team Keith, so I gotta definitely continue with the special before anything, right? So, but D Free, man, what's your thoughts?
Hey, I mean, from the very first time that we interviewed Keith Cologne, he was still in the amateurs. He was still a college student. He's grown a lot. His boxing ability has grown. His maturity has grown. We saw a young man grown to an adult right in front of our own eyes. Mm-hmm. We had him up here quite a few times, and he never ceased to amaze me with how smart and how mature he is for his age.
Yeah.
This is a guy that could have just said, "Nah, I don't want to go to school. I just want to box." He chose to go to school, finish with a 3.0 at Rutgers University, graduated with a bachelor's degree, and still maintained to keep an undefeated record with all knockouts. Yeah. You don't see that too often in the sport of boxing, especially a sport where everybody say it's mental more so than it is physical. And he was able to maintain his grades and maintain his professional career. So I have nothing but high hopes for Keith Cologne. I know he's going to be a champion at some point in time in his career. He's a great young individual, and he's an inspiration to a lot of young people that's
Yeah.
trying to get into the sport, that's trying to go to school and juggle a job as well as school. He's a very good inspiration.
No, absolutely. I mean, I know some of these channels and some of these groups that we have, like Sports Talk Network, Usual Suspects, and other channels. Like, we love the sport of boxing, right? And we have our favorites, and I think it's fine to have favorites. I know, some people go out there and like, oh, these type of fans against these type of fans or whatever. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to support the sport of boxing, right? Because that's what I like to do. I'm a supporter of the sport itself, but I think it's okay to have favorites. And not only is Keith one of my favorite fighters, he's the house fighter, right? And what I mean by that is that on this channel and on D Free's channel and in the Sports Talk Network channel, like he's the house fighter. Like we've had Keith since before he became a professional. So he's the house fighter. He represents us. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time we building him up, he's helping, us build here on YouTube or in the social media world or whatever you may call it. In the what is it, the boxing YouTube community, I don't know what it is anymore these days in the initials, but you know what I'm saying? So like I think it's okay. And listen, he's a phenomenal kid, and we when we first had him, we spoke about school and we spoke about boxing, and we spoke about his goals. And he pretty much already accomplished one of his goals. He graduated from the University of Rutgers, which is phenomenal. Not many people can do that. You know what I'm saying? And coming from places that he came from and that we all, most of us has come from, Newark, New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? It's not Little House in the Prairie, you know what I'm saying? So, it's just like, me from the Bronx, D Free from the DC area, you know what I'm saying? It's a little tougher, you know what I'm saying? And he accomplished that. So that's why I say, he's special, you know what I'm saying? And, and he's special in the ring, don't let the 10Ks fool you. He's very, very good in the ring technically. He sparred with guys, like I said, we spoke about Shushu. He's been in the ring with Cool Boy multiple times. Ofacio Falcone is, that I've had on the show a few times. He's been in the ring with Amanda Serrano. They sparred. He sparred with a lot of professional. Richardson Hitchens is another one, So he's been in the ring with world champions. You know what I'm saying? He's getting, that's what raises that IQ, that boxing IQ. I think he's a special human being and as more off than a special fighter. You know what I'm saying? So we'll always show praise to Keith Cologne here. You know what I'm saying? We are Team Keith Cologne, and we appreciate him being on here. So, and I appreciate everybody that came in and tuned in. Hopefully, if you came in late, you go back watching the replay. And couldn't get to everybody's questions, but I appreciate the people that came in with some questions as well. So with that being said, D Free, man, if you got any words, let them know, what I'm saying, where they can find you and, the next time, Oh, I think you're on mute, bro.
Y'all can find me on D Free Sports Talk. NFL's coming up. I will be running hot with the NFL this year. I'm now on Rumble as well, so follow the channel. Thomas is on Rumble as well. Follow the channel over there. We're trying to build up the channels over there as well as on YouTube. Rumble gives us a little more freedom to say what we want and do what we want. We're not have to worry about getting kicked up off the channel. So
that's true.
Follow us over there on Rumble because we're over there trying to build that up as well. But I will be talking boxing. I probably go live again on Thursday. I'm gonna talk about these fights that's coming up this weekend. I'm tired of talking about the same old cliche of what we want to happen. Let's talk about what's actually happening in the ring. We got some good fights coming up this weekend.
Yes, indeed. And, same here. I mean, we're looking to have more interviews as well. Like I said, Tales from the B-Side will be back. We're going to have an interview with hopefully Christian Prenga, which is what Keith was speaking about. He trains in his gym, and they have the same coach. And a couple other guys from the stable, Josiah Kirkpatrick. I got to get him back on the show. We had him on also. Nims also, he's got to fight in a couple weeks in Atlantic City. So we got a couple of people in line, to interview. So we'll be back. And then, of course, I'll go live whenever I get a chance. I'm not doing the scheduled Friday night lives like I used to do because everybody's going live now. And, it's so much content being out there, and I don't want to cross paths, and so I'll go on when I can, and we'll talk our ish, you know what I mean? So, but definitely I'll try to go on and talk about the fights this week.
We're gonna go live when we feel like going live. You're gonna get down, you're gonna lay down. You're gonna get down or lay down. We're gonna go live when we want to go live.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody else do it. Why we can't do it?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And we're in our content. I'm not saying that our content is the best, but it's not the worst. And we're putting out good content, man. We're bringing in people that are in the sport, come back and tell their stories and give us some insight rather than just shooting our opinions. Like, we're getting, the real deal, from people that are actually fighting, managing, promoting, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like our content is a little bit better than what other people are putting out there. You know what I'm saying? Because you can only hear somebody's opinions over and over again so much. You know what I mean? So, and I know people are tired of hearing me talk sometimes. I'm tired of hearing myself talk. So, why not bring somebody in and enlighten us on what's going in, in the sport itself. So,
yep.
But I appreciate everybody, Appreciate you, D Free, as usual. Appreciate everybody that came in and tuned in on this afternoon. I know people are working or busy, so I definitely appreciate that. And listen, we'll catch you on the next one. Roll with the Punches podcast. We'll be back. Take care. God bless, and catch you guys soon.
Peace.